jamming strong. Welcome to another Unblinded Huddle, the #1 place to start your day with a daily dose of integrity-based human influence. And every time I get to this part of the sentence, I always realize that I forget what day it is. So it is Trajectory Tuesday. And for everyone, first off, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all our new guests, the newer members of our movement, and those that have been tracking along with us for quite some time now. As we step into a beautiful Tuesday, there's a lot that's been occurring in the world of acceleration. We have some amazing guests coming up here today. And to kick the microphone off, I believe he might be in the state of Florida now. We have Mr. Sean Callaghy. So hello, sir. Great rising. Good morning, and over
Fernando.
to you.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Trajectory Tuesday, I think. And the massive fun Unblinded Roadshow continues. Thanks to L. Anderson, Dr. David, Andy Zapata, Mr. Zone Action, Tatiana, Miss Hyper Directness, but also heart-centeredness. Of course, Lorelei, our new friend, Iran, as well as, I'm thinking of who am I missing that was at the table last night. I think it's everybody. Of course, in addition to Nicole and Bella. Fantastic job to everybody. A lot of fun connecting last night. So thank you all. Fernando, who do we have coming up as guests on the call this morning?
Great question. I believe we have Rob Gill, who is driving looking like a gangster, and he is here and currently muted.
All right, awesome. So Adam Gugino, Fernando, what is there for you guys as we enter this Trajectory Tuesday, coming off of a dynamic Mastery Monday?
Over to you, AG.
Yeah, trajectory. I mean, yesterday, once again, Sean, seeing you virtually, of course, on stage at Date with Destiny brought me back to, August of 2019, when I sat in the audience seeing you do the Platt talk then, and creating the intentionality that I need to meet this man, the gravitational pull that was created, and just seeing, understanding now the power of the stage and the microphone through, and looking at it through the prism of the formula to know this is, how I'm where I am currently. And then to have you speak into that on stage once again, I mean, it came full circle and just an absolutely incredible feeling for me emotionally, but also, validating everything we're up to. And then, of course, we have Mr. Gill here. I know I'd love to kick it to Rob, who was also, spoken about in regard to everything he's done. I'd love to hear how he felt hearing that yesterday.
Yeah. Okay. Sean, you want me to go?
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Rob. How you doing, brother?
What's up, man?
Appreciating you. And what's there for you as we hit Trajectory Tuesday. And by the way, I just want to lean into how awesome it was to be with you in Chris Kearns, everything that transpired, the fun energy for sure, which, by the way, to be super clear, I think that this is a very important anchor, is sometimes people, I think, see a snippet and like, oh my God, man, they're having so much fun. And we definitely had fun. But Rob, how hard do we work? Like, how hard do we work? And how many hours of work for every minute of fun and laughs? Please, let's start there.
If I could quantify it, I'd say like 8 to 1, 10 to 1, maybe. Work, fun.
Yeah.
I think for me, I need to have fun because it de-stresses when I'm working.
Yeah.
If I can't do that, if I can't act like crazy, silly with integrity, of course, it just messes me up. So I even back in the day, I used to, if I was dialing, I needed to have fun somehow, and that's what this is. And fun for me is very important.
But how intense is the work ethic? Like how
the work ethic is, it's St. Anthony's. For anyone that doesn't know, it's guerrilla style, hard work, constantly innovating, constantly being coached, constantly looking to improve. Never sitting back and resting on your laurels. I'm watching a show on Netflix it's about Selena, the famous singer, who was murdered by her publicist or whatever she was.
Yeah.
And her dad really was the, he kind of brought the band together through the years. And the thing that was amazing is every time they got a new bass camp, he doubled down on work ethic. And that's exactly what's happening here. We're doubling, tripling down. There's no rest. There's no tomorrow. There's what can we do that's better today, even if we had a great day, And then there's the occasional, let's go, have fun and run around and act crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the work ethic can never, it doesn't, none of this success shows up at your front door. It's not glamorous. We watch movies and we see the glamour side of success. And sometimes we don't see all the hard work. We can't really get the visual of it. This is consistent, congruent, daily improvements, hard work. And then when you get great people together, or people that, not great, but people that are, or where you want to be, that have been there, done that are further along down the road, and all the minds get together for 3 days and teams are there, you see massive explosion in certain subject matter mastery. And this is all before you spoke yesterday.
No, thank you, brother. And I'll
jump in too on that. I wasn't there, but how you're able to even prepare for a 10-minute speech when you talk about work ethic, the fact that I know it was hours on hours to do what you did yesterday, with everything else that's happening within this movement and your schedule for the day is just astonishing. So just want to, just add that into the work ethic mix.
100%. And to that point, real fast, Adam, to that point, I don't know about you or anybody else on this call, but I've never seen somebody make every single word count. Like, there wasn't a loose word in anything he said, typically in general, but specifically yesterday. Not one.
Well, thank you, Rob. And the feedback was tremendous from, the powers that be, which I always care about tremendously. And we had a couple of glitches outside of our control. Their Tony World system crashed at some point.
Glitches get stitches.
Yeah, that's it.
Just kidding.
So, and I'm going to go back to that in 1 sec, Rob, and because I want to get your thoughts and impressions on it real quick. At the same time, I want to make clear to everybody, this just comes up for me, spend 6 months truly going all in. And what truly going all in looks like is, and for this you need, talk to Anil or somebody in the relationship space, right? You got to get your agreements around that. So I'm not commenting on how that all fits into your life, but I'm offering you the idea of going at it for 6 months with true zone action, not hours, not just hours, because the hours, if they don't have zone action included in them, don't produce the result. So like the learning, like the being there, and I'm gonna make a bold statement. Sacrifice the 8 a.m. to 8:30 call for a month. And during the 8 a.m. to 8:30 mastery call every morning, instead of being there for 1 month, merge ecosystems with leaders. Take that 30 minutes for a month. And I love the call. I love the connectivity. I love the love. Take 1 month off from the call. 1 month, and use that 8 a.m. to 8:30 to merge ecosystems with mavens, connectors, and salespeople, leaders of ideal ecosystem merger avatars, like of an accounting society or a legal society or a financial society or a real estate society or a coaching. What about the ICF, right? If you want, to coach coaches. What about the architectural society of something? What about the localized chapter of the the Scotch-Irish Association of Northern Idaho Attorneys? I'm joking, but not, because small groups don't get the same kind of people moving towards them. And in terms of speaking and ecosystem merging, they're super available. And those are all infinitely findable. We proved that with Nicole and Diana last week. Infinitely, in 60 seconds, right? So move towards that for half an hour a day with intentionality and watch what happens. And follow the progression of everything Invite them on your Aurora Open and take it from there. Okay. So that piece, though, is what it looks like. And second, I want to remind everybody that what I'm not professing to you is to kill yourself to ever. There's the ant and the grasshopper. And the grasshopper made fun of the ants while the ant was working and going crazy. Why are you guys working so hard? And the grasshopper's having fun. And then winter came and the grasshopper was freezing his tail off, and the ants were inside, like playing fiddles and sitting by the fire and having fun and laughing, Rob Gill, with a table full of food beyond all comprehension.
They were in a hot tub.
They were in a hot tub, having a great time.
Outside.
They were on the ski mountain with Big Rob Gill. Like, they were in the Stein Erikson Lodge. They were on the beach in Grand Cayman. They were playing with the stingrays, learning to scuba dive. They were having that magic. And I've lived that life. It is a beautiful life, man. You know, where I've not worked at all, but I still had purpose. Because at that time when I wasn't working, I actually was working, because I was running club baseball teams for my kids. And I was dealing with it. Why is Johnny not pitching but playing first base? These are good people. Like they were good people, and they're still that, right? And we had to have a conversation. It was healthy conversation, but still conversation, and still emotion, and still drama. And, you know, oh man, if, you know, Johnny didn't miss that sign, you know, and tried to steal third, we would have beaten the team from Vancouver and we would have won the championship, and, you know, whatever. And that's real. Like, we did play teams from Vancouver and Canada, and, you know, we played teams from the Virgin Islands and all over the country. So, but it was intentional, the way we spend and invest our time. And I am simply recommending you suspend all reality except for what you need to have, like, in the most precious of terms. And those precious of terms isn't binge watching Netflix. The most precious of terms is whatever, you know, your significant other and children. And the rest of it, I'm proposing 6 months of absolute Navy SEALness, full zone action though. It's not just 6 months of like, okay, I'm on the Monday night calls. Because if you're on the Monday night calls and you've been in this program for a while, I don't even know why. Don't be on the Monday night call. Love you, thank you. Don't be on the Monday night call, right? Go during that Monday night call from 7 to 8:30, merge ecosystems, book your own speaking engagement. If you've been in the program for more than a month and you've been on the Monday night call twice, you don't need to be there again. Love you, thank you for the support, but we're not here for you to watch what we're doing. We're here to cause you to create things in the world. Right. So love you. So Rob Gill, you said some kind things. What did you see yesterday that you liked and felt good about, or comments on the talk overall for Date with Destiny? What are your takeaways from it?
You know, to Adam's point, when he talked about seeing you a year, you know, back in 2019, I totally understand that. And when I think of the two different times, maybe three, but the two different times that I actually seen you get on Tony's stage, and, you know, the first one was more like a jog around the track, right? You know, you wanted to in your mind make sure you didn't take up too much space. That's just how I saw it, right? When I think back on it now today, based on yesterday. The second one is where there was the massive crowd at the back, and that was Date with Destiny 19. When you helped the Platinum program, you know, break Alt's records, selling 8 million in platinum, I believe. I think that's the number. And then obviously out in Idaho on stage there, where you were part of raising, you took it from 600 to 1.6 million in about 7 minutes by doing a visual or a real life version of digital marketing. Had the buyers buy more, and then you began to lower the price, right, for Tony's birthday. I witnessed that. That was incredible. Tell me if I'm wrong, but that's what I saw. That's the value ladder that Chris Crone talks about.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to talk about ending sex trafficking. That we had the buyers buy more, and we had the lowering the price. I'm teasing because that's exactly what happened. But it is.
By the way, what Sean just did is how he talks when he picks at something I say and just breaks it down. Oh my God, that's so funny. But yesterday you called me and I didn't see it yet. And your voice was, you were being really hard on yourself, right? So when I did see it, I didn't know what to expect, other than my only bit of information was from you, right? And there was different reasons why you were disappointed, but you did point out the glitch that happened. So finally, about an hour later, when I got to see it and I was watching it and I was listening, I just saw a crispness, a base camp level in you that I had never seen before, right? The flow, the movement, the regal look to me, the royalty look. Somebody else said royalty somewhere, and I agree with that 100%. You looked like a giant on that stage, just so you know. I mean, Scott even was out of the camera at one point. to Fernando and Adam, the flow was incredible. It really was. And if I'm thinking of a great boxer, I am thinking of Ali, the way he would work the ring, his footwork, being able to hit with both hands and in and out, and being able to avoid punches through his body. Everything was incredible. And then boop, the screen went black, right? So I'm thinking, all right, this is kind of like The Social Dilemma on Netflix, where they start to kind of, someone in the Tony world, this is just me being from Bayonne, but someone in the Tony world hit the button, right? And they said, oh, all right, this is going too fast right now. Let's slow it down.
Rob Gill and conspiracy theories left and right. That is amazing.
So all of a sudden it was like
I am not agreeing with this. I am not endorsing this, and I do not believe that happened. But I'm wildly entertained by Rob Gill.
Well, the visual is all the people that control all the media on the Tony side. All of a sudden there was a mad scramble because there was some kind of like an alert that went off because this speech was like skyrocketing, and then all of a sudden the button was hit, screen went black. All right. So that was a massive disruption. Tony talks about that, the 7 steps to create effective lifelong change. You got to create massive disruption. Anyway, just kidding about that. But that was my thought. And then when Sean gets back on, it was just amazing because you didn't really skip a beat at all, to be truthful. I didn't notice any kind of effect. It's almost like getting hit with a punch that you don't see, right? Not that they were doing it on purpose, all kidding aside. And I think that from the time that the camera kind of went black and then he came back on again, and that last 3 or 4 minute flurry was unreal. He acknowledged what I did with this formula because of what Unblinded did for me. And, I never expected that, Sean, that. I was blown away that you actually said that. And I do honor, what this whole community and this movement has done for what we have going on at Epic. And I said this yesterday on another call, but, Fernando is a guy that really, when I look at how he has embodied the formula from the very beginning, right? Even before Unblinded was created, and the way he could articulate it, there was a gravitational pull to him, and it made me want to compete at a high level. And I do thank him and give him credit for me finally understanding the formula, even though I'm still in first grade, right? If it wasn't for him, we talk about Cialdini, similar others, because I don't look at you as a similar other to me, Sean. You're my mentor coach, right? But Fernando, when he began to articulate the formula, it blew my mind that it made me level up. And then, obviously Adam, after Fernando, because I've known Fernando for a good 7-8 months before Adam came. And then the business side of what's happening now is another form of leveling up. And all of that stuff was kind of in my head post microphone and stage that you had yesterday after you spoke. And it was the greatest speech that Rob Gill, has ever seen you do, and how you were tying in decision-making with action, with Date with Destiny, because that was all about. And it's always amazing to me how when you talk, I do feel like you're talking to one person, even though you're talking to everybody, right? I feel like you have that ability in a way that I've never seen before. And I'm sure everybody on this call agrees that when Sean is speaking, sometimes it's like, yeah, is he talking about me? Did he just say that thing about me? Like that whole thing? But also, right? But also, wow, he's touching my heart, like it feels so individualistic. And I've never seen that before in such close proximity to me. And I've been around greatness a lot.
No, I appreciate Rob. And for everybody, it's also part of like honoring source and making sure we do it integriously. So I told the story about my dad because I thought in service and honor of Platinum and the incredible sense of family and community that it is, that going from the Tony quote and moving right into that story would be a very like scatomic, hey, I'm on another Zoom call like you guys, like, here we go. But this one's a little bit different. And having that transitional dynamic, and then honoring Mariah. Because if no Mariah, no Unblinded.
Yep.
And honoring Nicole. Because
Yep.
if no Nicole, no Unblinded. Her support in deciding to join Platinum and a million other things that she did. So it fit. And the energy of like love and gratitude and appreciation to say Mariah, to say Nicole, and to say you, to acknowledge the meeting of Adam there. And I should have also said Fernando, meeting Fernando in the room. So that was an oversight, and I apologize, Fernando. it is complicated in those moments, obviously. But for all of you, it's like that honoring of source, but not having come off like I'm just saying a whole bunch of names to name drop, you know, because there's a resonance and an energy that can come across by saying somebody's name in a moment like that. And it makes it more real than just saying, like, not saying a name. So I did that in service of the talk for Date with Destiny, in service of Tony, in service of Platinum. And I did it in service of the individual people, you know, in those moments. In it,
And so,
yeah,
real quick, and not to miss the magic, as Fernando would put once again, if there was any question about you doing the talk on Friday morning, the huddle, and acknowledging Fernando and the whole Date with Destiny, and then I think that just again was a brilliant and incredible moment for all of this to just take place the way it did.
I agree. And for those that don't know what I'm saying is that's innovation. In a moment, we saw a possibility and we created an entire video around Date with Destiny from last year, what Fernando learned, acknowledging Tony, put that out there. So that's what it looks like. And did it on the spot in that time. So
Sean, can I add one thing, if it's okay? Because I think one of the things that I learned from you is you truly, and you do not leave people behind. Like, and I say that because early on, I remember when, and guys, this is before Unblinded, but I used to say to Sean, you're going to leave me behind. Remember, Sean? Early.
All the time.
So I saw like, you know, the gravitational pull, like in the first and second inning of what was happening in Tony world. And his loyalty for any of us that have grown up with, you know, friends that you know, you go back to like grammar school days that are really, really loyal, that are still in your life. You don't sometimes, and when you get older, you don't see that. And I never knew at that point, like I know now, how Sean is so loyal. He is principled to integrity. He's principled to his process, self-mastery, obviously. Divorces himself from outcomes. That's a big one. And I did not understand that. He doesn't try and predict what the outcome is because things change so much. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And if I go to AA, that's acceptance, right? For the things that you can't control, and really be able to accept the things you can control and double down on those. And his loyalty to source, his loyalty to team, his loyalty to people that have touched his heart, and even not, is something that I've never seen before, ever. His sacrifice is incredible.
Thank you, brother. And listen, and that's for everybody here to replicate, you know, but I will say, and whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent though, but I'm looking for alignment, and don't bring negative energy into my space. You know,
Exactly.
if you're not aligned, it doesn't mean I'm right, you're wrong. I mean, I'm on a crazy path, right? I'm on a very unique path at this juncture, and we are here, and that's what we're driving forward in leadership. If we're not aligned and you can bring negative energy into my space, then we got a challenge, you know? So because I'm going 500 miles an hour in a car and you hit a speed bump at 500 miles an hour in a car and the car goes careening like over trees and you get killed in the woods, right?
Sean, can I give a distinction on negative energy, if you don't mind, or any kind of disruptive energy, if that's okay?
And this is not,
I remember
using me as an example for each of your lives for what you need.
But I'm going to give an example of how I did it back in the day, just so it could land. There was a time I was meeting at Clara Moss with a potential referral that I met through, you know, Practice Mastery. And the meeting didn't go well. And I was pissed. And I called Sean up, like, to vent. And he pointed out in that moment two things. Number one, the story that I was telling myself, which was completely not true. And that I was doubling down that story into my nervous system. And also, like, I realized in that moment, Sean's not a parent like that I'm going to emotionally lean on if I'm upset about something. He's someone I can talk to if the world is rocked around me. This was not one of those incidents. And I think as we get closer to Sean, and there's different innings of it, you know, I've had the good fortune of being closer, seeing other things develop. I had to kind of step back a little bit and then coming back, but always being connected. The biggest thing for anyone that listens that has proximity to Sean or the immediate circle, what I could suggest is think before you bring anything to the table. Play it out, rethink it, look for a solvable result before you bring the problem or challenge, I should say. And I think if you do that, you will accelerate a lot faster. That's just my opinion, based on what I've seen.
Amen. And everyone,
Amen.
remember, there's multiple ways that you could listen. You can listen to the entertainment that is Rob Gill. You can listen to how this applies to your life, and you can listen to how you can teach this. Don't miss the magic of what Rob just said, not only for Sean, just self-awareness and social management, period. Think through emotional and human dynamics. And I'll end with this, and Adam, I'll kick it over you as I heard your voice. I literally sent Sean a text message over the weekend saying, hey, thank you for helping me keep rapport with this person. I see you. Because I know what Sean is doing. I see the way he moves. And I want to repeat everything Rob just said on his loyalty. And I'll end with this, and I'll kick it to you, Adam. Sean, we've come a long way from your Christmas party when I was like, why didn't you say my name when you were like acknowledging everyone? Like, that happened. My ego and significance was like proud and loud. And we've come a long way. And I can tell you, with every inch of my soul, I felt so acknowledged on what you did on that speech. And my heart couldn't be any happier when you mentioned Adam. And not for one moment in my nervous system that I feel left out whatsoever. And that is because of your consistency and loyalty, and because of this formula. Adam, what were we going to share?
Wow. I'm just, I want to, speak into both, but Rob, the humility and like, that's just your opinion. That was beautiful, brother. I mean, that couldn't have been more spot on in regard to just, the gravitational pull that's created when you're bringing that energy and not, when you're aligned, you're looking for the solution. You're looking to provide the support, especially through, with the formula being present. So thank you for that. And Fernando, wow. I mean, when we talk about your growth and where you are, the amazing part about what you said is I'm the first one to feel like, oh man, maybe Sean should have mentioned Fernando. And I feel the same way. Like, that was all about you, brother, as well. And I didn't feel that you were going to have that significance or that feeling or that emotion that you were left out until you mentioned it today, Sean. I didn't even think once about it. And Fernando, I'm always present to that feeling. So that was amazing.
And to everyone's point, I never even expected him to say that. Honestly, I really did not. And I was blown away that he even did, because I've already gone through that whole curve that we're talking about. You know what I mean? Because I understand. And I understand everything both of you guys are saying, 100%.
And the truth of the matter is, the other alternative is to say nobody's name ever, which I think sometimes, at some level, I think I see Tony do, right? I think he made a conscious choice a long time ago to pretty much say like virtually no names. And I get it, because then everybody gets, frustrated, upset, but I just made a different choice. And if it's going to cause upset, it's like, don't say one name because you might leave people out. I'm not going to go that way. And maybe it's an error, and maybe I'll change that position in the year. But I just don't think it's right. I didn't say my son's name. Let me tell you something. Tyler has had a tremendous impact on the arrival of Unblinded. Because when he came to those events and people met him, when, the head of Trillions met him, when Chris Crone met him, when other people in Lions met him, when he was on a video at the end of the Monaco adventure trip. So the second big moment, this was said to me specifically, that I knew who you were when you bought the $100 bill and I saw you on the video with your son, the microphone, we had the microphone, and I acknowledged him. I had tears in my eyes with Tyler on the end of the adventure trip to Monaco. That was a profound moment in the Tony world. So here's my son, who's 18, who's running around Tony World with me and loving it and leaving massive HUI impressions for himself and for me, and therefore now Unblinded. And I didn't say his name. And he was like the original person in, along with Nicole. And that video in Monaco, I am telling you, was mic drop. That was the centerpiece of the wrap-up video. I don't tell that story often, of the adventure trip to Monaco, centerpiece of me emotionally thanking everybody for they treated Tyler with all my heart. And I wasn't even thinking about all the stuff we think about now in that moment. It was just so authentic. I was so grateful. It's always authentic, but it was not even intentionality wrapped around it. And I was just so grateful for how everybody treated Tyler and how amazing it was. I got a little pissed when they were giving him shots in like Monaco the next night, but that's a story for a different day. And I'm only like half kidding with that. That is a very, very funny we say Unblinded after dark. After the Monaco trip, Tyler came up with the underbelly of Platt. So Unblinded after dark, and Tyler after the Monaco trip talked about the underbelly of Platt. So that was like,
it does exist too.
Yes, that was a fun thing that Tyler Callaghan coined the phrase. So the point is that we want to acknowledge people. And we also want to realize, like, let's have fun and hard energy. Like, there's so many incredible people and so many names to say. Like Jack and Patricia, and what they did made the spiritual trip, like the inner sanctumness of what was there was truly incredible, and that's the thing. And like, let us never forget. But the truth be told, for you to create the life in the world that you want to create, there's going to be dozens and then hundreds of people that would have co-created that magic with and for you. Dozens and hundreds. But so number one, let's never forget any of them, right? And that's why I still write Father's Day posts like this past Father's Day of all the people that were fathers to me, including my biological father, my two stepfathers, and everybody else in the coach, high school coaches, Tony Robbins, everybody, Jay Abraham, all these people that imparted, into me in my life. And there will be many. And I'm just recommending that we don't fail to say names because we're afraid we might leave somebody out, because we're going to. But then if we don't, then we never acknowledge those people. Number one. Number two, in the space of negative energy, it could be this simple. Come with a solution. If you identify a problem, come with a solution, right? If your energy is on the problem, you're not a leader, and leaders will not want to deal with you. Like, leaders will not want to deal with you if what you're great at is identifying problems, because the leader probably knows the problem already. And your dramatization of it, the energy you bring about it, the whatever you're going to bring is only going to harm the leader's energy, right? So don't bring the problem, bring the solution, because the leader probably knows it already, right? Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
All right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you want to find the fastest way for a true leader to want to like just not talk to you, and not like anger, but out of just like we have to like master our own energy, right? Self-mastery is you having boundaries around your energy. So I had boundaries yesterday. I have boundaries every day. There's a lot to do for all of us. For you, you've got to guard your energy. Like, energy is air. Your energy is air. It's as important as water, liquid. It's survival. Like, what water and air is to the survival of your life and body, your energy level is to your destiny.
Yeah. And you got to guard it with people that are the closest to you at home too. Like, for me, my wife, my kids, my family, you know what I mean? And I don't mean that I mean that in a way of how I process information that comes to me, that after I'm gone, I come back to, and you're just dealing with the real life of what's happening. The real mastery for me is being able to have that same ability to create a healthy boundary, but not alienate or isolate the most precious loved ones. You know what I mean? Because that factors into this as well. And if you have the support of your family, it's over. You're going to just, which I do, you'll have the ability to accelerate there too as well.
Amen. Yep. And listen, and what scale looks like is having the ability also to have duplication. Like, we need you. We need your leadership. We need all of you. Great moments of leadership all over the place yesterday in support of things. Certainly want to acknowledge Bella for jumping in on the Real Raw. I think that's the first one I've missed. And it went extremely well under crazy circumstances, because it was like green room and there was like connection issues and there was like making noise issues and, you know, the complexity of like what to do, because I was supposed to go on at 1:45 and I totally honor and understand that because, you know, like live event-ness means all sorts of different changes in scheduling. And so I was sitting side stage for, well, like I was probably between side stage and on stage is about a 2-hour process where I was just like off with no phone, no nothing, and all that stuff got accomplished. So that's what leadership looks like. So Rob Gill, love you, brother. If you're going to give one call to action, one piece of Rob Gill sage wisdom about anything we're talking about, final, one line, like one point, what would it be for everybody? Your call to action to everybody.
Tomorrow never comes, because when it's tomorrow, it's today. And what I would do is break down 15-minute segments the second you hang up this call, and begin to call people. Don't just text. And if you do text, say, hey, do you have a chance? I want to run something by you. Don't like tell them in a text what you're trying to accomplish, but make some dials and let people hear your love and voice tonality. When that happens, massive movement occurs, especially if it's congruent.
Text is to confirm. Text is a quick connect. Confirm, quick connect, agreement formation, happens, and your HUI is transferred and something is put at stake, and emotional rapport is truly built through oral communication only. Thank you guys. Tonight is going to be a mind blower on the Tuesday night call, as we're going to look at what can happen if we don't have self and process mastery in place. I'm not overly dramatizing it. It's a real story. It's somebody that I knew quite well and had merged ecosystems with that's no longer here with us, and who I also want to honor for the talent and ability and let his life stand for something truly important and valuable. So thank you guys, and have an awesome Trajectory Tuesday. Chaz, let's hit it with some upbeat, like let's go stuff. Maybe even Let's Go All Fired Up by Pat Benatar, because there does come a time when everything falls in line. And we're in it right now. You're in it right now for you, your life. Let's co-create, make magic happen. Love you guys. Pat Benatar, All Fired Up. Thanks.